Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope you're not lying to me. All right, here we go. All right, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Bad Boys Riding Bicycles with Bandanas on their backsides, battling banditos in Carlsbad while cycling with sickles in their side pockets just in case they need to slice a Sicilian. Uncle Gary still doesn't like Italians episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day. I'm just take over, dude. I can't talk.
My name is Thomas Grimm. My co-host here, Brian Day, is having a stroke at the moment. But to all our listeners out there, we appreciate you. All our new listeners, please like and subscribe on your platform of choice, whether Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leave a comment. That's about it.
We can't get enough comments, dude. So we've been getting a few, actually. Really digging it.
Yeah,
a lot of people out there just doing their best to just to like put us down in any way they feel necessary.
Yeah, we encourage them to put us down.
I enjoy it. Honestly, like if I don't wake up like hate shaming myself, like the day doesn't feel right to me. Also, 9/11, never forget. That's today. We're recording a week in advance. Also, two big sporting events happened this weekend. The weekend of 9/11. Last night, I watched Nate Diaz smack the shit out of, what was his name? Tom something. I don't know. Some 40-year-old dude that has no business being in the ring anymore. Nate Diaz is actually almost 40 now.
Wow.
Killer fight. That was dope to watch Nate win. So I highly suggest you check out the highlight reels from that. And then also, my Dolphins won this weekend. That's all I've got going on.
And
how are you
that's
doing?
why he stuttered through the intro.
Wow, dude.
So,
I got freaking, I think I got polio or something.
joining us this week in the Days Grimm studio
Parkinson's.
is the owner of Cycling Solutions, Ben Moll. How are you?
Ben Moll, how are you, sir?
Great.
Don't mind me. I'm just eating a snack. Good to see you, man. Glad to meet you. First off, hold on. I got so much going on here today.
Busy time. I'm glad we finally got you in.
Yeah.
So for the, we were actually talking a little bit, not before the show, but before you came on, you shared a quote of Marcus Aurelius, and I recommended the Meditations by him. And you got the new translation. It's crazy. The original translation is like old. It's like the King James version of the Bible. It's like ye art thou here.
Oh, yeah.
I made the mistake of getting that book the first time, and I was like, oh man.
I'm into that. Who is this fella that we're talking
Marcus
about?
Aurelius? Wasn't he?
He was like the last great good emperor
of Rome.
Yeah.
And he had like,
oh really?
Yeah, and he wrote down like his thoughts, basically, essentially on like everything, almost in like a diary of like King David or somebody did, back then. And like it's crazy how they apply still to like this day.
And it's almost 2,000 years old. And still more relevant maybe now than it was then for some people.
It's crazy.
I dig Rome a lot, dude, for a couple of reasons. Because first off, they murdered so many people. I love violence, so that's dope. And then also, they're a lot like America is a lot like Rome. And how long did Rome last?
Probably 1,000 years.
Wasn't that long?
More than that.
I have no clue.
I don't know. I don't feel like looking it up either. I'm like,
hey Siri, how long was the Roman Empire? Okay. A total of 507 years.
see, in America, having rolling up now on 300 years old, I really feel like because we're so similar, I feel like America's right at the end. I hope Caesar gets murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hoping that I get to see the end of it. That's what I want to see, the end of the U.S. and I want to see the end of the world.
I don't think you can say that on a social media platform.
You can't?
In the U.S.
Maybe I just retract that. I'll beep it. I'll beep it, dude. Would that not be sick though? It'd be fucking sick, dude. What if it's not like the end of the U.S.? I imagine it like the states will just become their own countries.
I don't know.
Like the fall of the civil union.
I think it may turn into just 2 countries.
Hold on,
Who knows?
I gotta do this. I gotta do this real quick.
God bless you.
The answer to that, let me know, because I stay up at night thinking about that a lot.
Do you think, okay, and then last part of this, do you think if the states were to just become their own countries, are you staying a Hoosier?
Good question.
Right? You think about that? Like if you're in just 49 other countries, like do you think you stay a Hoosier? Or are you moving somewhere else?
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on your job and your business and where it's at.
I'm moving. Wherever weed's legal. I'm moving, dude.
I'm out.
I don't know, man. I'm not staying here, I don't think.
All right, let's roll into this DOT dub real fast.
Yeah, dude. So this week's Death of the Week, Tommy.
Brought to you by
Corn Dog Development, slinging these sick-ass coasters. Dude's been crushing it for a while, still getting after it, to my knowledge. I think he's still alive, and he's from, like, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and he just had eye surgery back to 20/20 vision.
Yeah, and he's making
those lines are going to be extra straight.
Yeah, and he's making stripper poles out of maple wood. So give him a peek. Links in the description. Promo code Days Grimm saves 10% on anything, including the stripper pole. So this week's Death of the Week. Normally we like to pick one that pertains to the guest. This one is just too good, and I had to pull this one. This has zero correlation to our guest today. We're going to go ahead and, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to go ahead and see the face of the guy who did the killing.
That's a guy?
That is a man. That is a Hispanic 31-year-old. Forget where he's from in LA, but from California, but his name is Jaime Osuna, 31 years old. Decapitated and dissected the body of his cellmate, 44 years of age, with a makeshift knife, state documents show. But after prison guards made their rounds, they reported that both men were alive, according to 2 new reports on California prisons from the Inspector General's office, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, I'll keep it short just because I saw this on, I actually saw it on Snapchat, but this fella right here, Mr. Jaime, or Jamie for the layman, for the English. This gentleman was in prison for murder. The 44-year-old man was in prison for murder. They're cellmates now, and this guy stabs and kills him with a makeshift knife, decapitates him, and then, like it said, dissects his body, pulls his entrails out, and makes a necklace out of this man's entrails. And they find him sitting in his cell, decapitated cellmate, body split open, necklace of fucking large intestines.
That's a long necklace. His chain is low. It's like a 25-foot necklace.
I saw this on the news and I was like, there's no way I can't bring this up.
That's intense.
Look at this fucking guy,
I know,
dude.
Right? I see it. He looks like that Mexican guy from
oh my
God.
Squad. So that one was short and sweet, but I had to throw that out there just because I read about it and I was like, there's no way I'm not bringing this up for the podcast.
So Ben,
there's no way.
Are you from Evansville?
Newburgh.
Newburgh?
Yeah.
You spent your whole life there?
Yep, and then I lived in Evansville for like 10 years.
Shout out to Warwick County, dude. Your guys' property taxes have come down recently. Or ours have gone up, one or the two.
Well, the Centerpoint bill's going up, offset that plenty, so.
Yeah, assholes. Also, if you work for Centerpoint, I'm willing to interview you. Not a big fan of those guys.
So, in high school, did you play any sports?
No, I was kind of wallflower, going to indie hardcore punk shows.
Okay, I dig that.
Yeah.
I was pretty big into the punk stuff.
Were you into music then? Like, did you play an instrument and stuff?
Didn't play. I was more into like helping friends book shows and just kind of just
like managing, essentially.
Yeah, I used to help. My dad had a copy machine at work, so we always would go. It was before Photoshop and all the good stuff, all the photo editing,
taping pictures and stuff.
We'd go Microsoft Word, type out the words, cut them out with scissors, tape them on a photo, copy it on the copy machine, and that's the old black and white kind of punk show flyers. That was early 2000s. So
wow,
it's cool.
From high school, you said you went to USI, or you said you moved more towards Evansville.
I went to Ivy Tech for a year for criminal justice, and then kind of had a quarter life crisis of not knowing what the hell I wanted to do, and went from that to going to studio art at USI the second year. So that's a big jump right there.
You define that. What is studio art?
Like sculpting, drawing, photography, just kind of the whole range of art.
I got you. That's interesting. Did you like USI much, or?
Yeah, but I think I partied too much, so that is why
that'll get you, dude. That'll get you, dude. I did sophomore and junior year blackout.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it goes, man. College is a real bitch. So then from there, so what makes you get away from studio art?
Just not knowing what I wanted to do, you know.
Did you go all the way through there at USI?
No, I just went for a year there too, and then it was like, man, I still don't know what I want to do, so I just need to step back. And
so how many years deep of escuela are you at this point?
2 years.
That would be 2 years, yeah.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, and I feel like at that age, because you're how old at that point?
19?
19, 20, yeah, 19.
You're like the standard age or whatever. And I feel like 19-year-olds are like so impressionable, and so like you're still figuring out life. You know what I mean? I feel like high school should almost be a little longer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and you shouldn't have to choose a major until you're like 22, because even at 22, you're still just like stupid as shit. You don't know anything. You know what I mean? You don't know anything. Right. Maybe you've been outside the country once.
Well, I was just thinking even today about how many generations back did the entire family live in one household? Like if you think about it, like grandparents' family, like they all lived in one household for up until they were like 30s. I feel like and like you don't have that now.
Yeah, you had grandparents helping raise the grandkids, and now it's like grandkids go to daycare and just get thrown in the pen with all the other kids and learn all the bad habits. And
so what happens when you quit USI?
A girl that I had dated for a long time, her mom committed suicide, and I kind of had but just an emotional breakdown and didn't know what to do with myself for a while. So, yeah,
just lived life day to day, basically.
Yeah, and that was really hard, and like everything I identified with just changed like that. And she left town and left me, and it was hard. And then I just kind of bounced around, drank too much for like 3-4 years. Met my ex-wife, partied too much with her.
In this time, were you even like, were you working out? Was that a thing
No,
for you?
It was, I had, so my grandfather after World War II, when he came back, started an packaged ice business. You know, you remember Party Ice?
Yeah. Shit, yeah.
So that was him, started in the back of a gas station.
Wait, like
Henderson.
the Party Ice?
Yeah.
That was your grandfather?
Yeah.
Big shoots to Gramps, dude. What a stud.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a business. Because
they're
they're still rolling, aren't they?
They sold a little over, between 10 and 15 years ago to a corporation called Home City Ice out of Ohio.
But that's like the dream.
Yeah, and that was shortly after all that shit happened to me. So it was like, hey, family business is gone.
Right.
What the hell do I do now? And then lots of
also
soul
like
searching.
Ohio just sucks balls, dude. That story just really ended tragically for me. Okay, so you step away from the studio art. How long before you choose what's my next venture? You know what I mean? How long before you choose your next direction?
7-8 years.
Really?
Just
so
wandering around, not knowing what to do.
What'd you do for 7 or 8 years?
Had 2 kids.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, and then tried to just do, my father, when they sold the business, continued to work for him, but he wanted to do some like real estate
with those
investing.
Ohio folks.
Yeah, just because I had 2 sisters and he wanted to put them through school and have health insurance, so he wanted to continue to work and
he had experience.
Yeah, and he was so valuable to the. It's like you own the company, you put your heart and soul into it, and you sell it, and the owners leave, and it just crumbles. So, and I think the people that bought it knew that, so they really wanted him and his brothers that were still alive and sticking with it to stay there and help.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude.
So
I get it, but also I would just like to reiterate that Ohio sucks balls.
So this 7 years of just like basically wandering and partying and experiencing life,
childbirth,
and all that stuff happens. What like I mentioned, like working out and stuff. When did you start getting into like when did you find that
after
that coping
my
mechanism?
daughter was born? Man, having another like a part of you is like the most anxiety inducing thing ever. It's
for sure.
Having this infant that is defenseless, and I was like, man, I already had anxiety, and now it was like tenfold. It's like, what the hell am I gonna do? So went over to a friend's, drinking one night, smoking, being dumb. He started getting into mountain biking. I was like, oh, I want to do this. Like I grew up with like 3 acres of woods behind the house, kind of alone a lot, just never, it was always home, hanging out,
right?
Anxiety, built little trails in the backyard, had a little mountain bike. It wasn't anything great. It was like a mongoose from Walmart, but it was mine, and it was the shit for me.
Oh yeah.
So started kind of looking, like wondering like what I could do, and like what did I used to have fun with. I was going in the woods, making trails, hiking around, riding my bike, so got the bike, started riding, still smoking a pack of cigarettes a day while I did it, still drinking, still being an idiot.
Oh yeah.
You really took it, from like trail riding to like BMX, like trail riding meets BMX.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Got the bike, was doing, like I said, my dad stayed with the company, but he was also, he's just a beast at work. So he was doing that full time, and then we were getting houses and trying to flip them at the same time.
Damn, so he just had no off.
No.
He was just always motor flipped on and had to be doing...
World War II, grandfather's from World War II, man, like...
Yeah, dude, there's no Nazis to kill anymore, and that was a full-time job, Like,
and he was a reconnaissance pilot, so... He would go up over territory and just bomb down. He said he always puked in a bag every time he had to go down and for photographs.
Your dad was a pirate?
No, his grandpa.
It's just funny. I've never heard it called that. You could legitimately tell people, yeah, my grandpa was a pirate.
Yeah.
That's what's up, dude.
He was a pilot. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said
might have mumbled a little bit. You're good.
I said pilot.
Damn,
I'm a mumbler. It's my fault.
Damn, I got excited. Okay, but
Brian doesn't listen all the way either. He's a military guy. He's good with numbers.
I jumped to conclusions.
One direction.
All good.
Yeah, I jumped to conclusions. Somebody's like, "Yeah, man, I bought a dog the other day." I'm like, "Oh, I love pit bulls," and they're like, "No, it's a Chihuahua." And it's like, "Oh, fucking whatever." Close enough, So he was a pilot. Okay,
Yeah.
and then he would dive down to do bombing. Oh, okay, I got it.
Do it over.
Intense, dude. That's
pretty wild, and we've still got a lot of his old maps and stuff that for the routes that they would take. And
so
sick,
your dad gets you into flipping houses and like helping him out with all that work.
Yeah, and then I'm still still not knowing what I want to do. Still have I have a newborn.
How often are you going and hitting trails? Is that like become like a weekend release?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yep. Weekend release, and then, started realizing, hey, I'm not in shape for this shit at all. I'm huffing and puffing after 2 miles and ready to quit. So started trying to ride more on the road just to get fitness.
Were you doing that on the mountain bike?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Chugging along.
Hell yeah.
On the old hardtail.
6 miles an hour, just fucking crushing it.
Thought it was the shit to do 8 miles, and
yeah, dude, that's intense, man. I'll tell you, like, road riding on a mountain bike sucks balls.
I just think back to like middle school and high school, but that's where like I got my love for cycling low key, was just because like that's all you had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you want to ride 4 miles to your buddy's house, like you're gonna get there.
Yeah, I grew up in South Broadview in Newburgh, which at the time was like the first or second largest suburb in the 90s in Indiana. So it was pretty sprawled out big, and it's like 2-3 miles from one side of the neighborhood to the other. So, and the only way to get around is either walk or ride your bicycle as a kid, and
right.
The dollar store with all the candy was pretty far away. Walked, so
right.
Bicycle was the shit.
I relate to like your story in that aspect. Of I went to college for like 2 years essentially, and then like partied the whole time, had my kid, and then like just lost myself like partying still for like a few years, and then like just like out of nowhere I'm like, let's do the podcast, and then like literally no time into that I'm like, let's do a triathlon. I'm like just sitting around smoking weed, doing nothing with my life, and like Brian's out here post-military still running 6 miles a day,
just snapping dicks. Mostly.
Yeah.
I like to look at people that are also working out outside, and I like to know that like I'm doing better than them. Everything's a competition with me. I don't know why. I'm very aggressive. I'm not a fan of it. It's probably my worst quality.
Takes all kinds, man.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's being cognizant of the fact that you're a piece of shit that really makes the difference. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's like as long as you know that you're being a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like you at least know it.
My favorite is when I'm a big runner. I love running. It's like my favorite out of, all the working out that I've ever done or will continue to do. Love running. Downside is you can't do it for very long, and I'm already 32. So, but I love it so much, but I can tell I'm getting slower as I age farther. Just like I can't go as fast. I put on a little more weight, whatever. But I'll see people out running, like in a group, like a pair or a husband and a wife, and I will make it. Like I will die. I am going to die, but I'm going to pass these people.
Oh, yeah, I do that on the bike,
Oh,
too.
dude, I'm going to make you look bad. Like, dude. And it's so bad, too. Like, but everything is a competition.
I feel that way, though. Like, you need that, like, when you're on the road, whether it be on bike or on foot, like I said, when I was doing, like, 41 miles the other day, like, 26, there's like a lady on a bike that like turned in, and she's like an old lady, but I'm like, I'm passing this lady, you know what I mean? And like,
I get up
to her and I'm like, I'm like, good morning, and she's like, oh yeah, morning, and she's like, how many miles are you at? And I'm like, oh, 26, and she's like, oh wow, and I'm like, I got like another 20 more to go, and just like keep pedaling, and then that they're back there, so you got to keep trucking for a solid till you're out of eyesight.
You can't let Nana catch up, dude. No.
You're like chugging that pre-workout extra hard, that extra bottle.
Meemaw comes cruising up on your backside. You're like, shit, I suck ass.
So how? So like you're helping your dad, and you're also working at the ice place.
I did that for a while, but then that was just too much family business all at once, and
then so like you're helping your dad flip houses, and then like you're hitting trails, and you're realizing that like you're struggling to do it, so you start cleaning up a bit.
Maybe a little bit. Cigarettes. I mean, like maybe 1% better type thing. But
hey, man, 1%'s 1%. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Small steps.
More, and ex-wife, bad influence, bartender, all that shit. So.
Not like a heroin addict or anything, just so we're clear. She just drinks and that's it? Or was she even worse? I don't know. No, I'm joking. We don't have to dive into that.
No diving into that.
Okay, we'll leave that where it lies.
So anyways, you guys end up splitting.
Yeah, I go through a lot. Go through, a lot of betrayal, typical stuff of rocky relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Realizing I was the one being true and honest the whole time, and thought that it was mutual, and it wasn't. Blah blah blah. Anyway, get separated. Probably one of the top 3 most devastating days of my life when I realized it was over. Just laid in bed and sobbed for the whole day. Just horrible shit.
That's not great. And this
Total
is
trauma.
This is the mother of your children.
Yeah,
that's devastating for sure.
And then not knowing what to do. Parents had a couple duplexes in Newburgh, had a spot open up. They were like, listen, you don't have anywhere to go. You need to sell your house. Get out of here.
Yeah, peace out.
She doesn't have anywhere to go. You need somewhere for the kids. So I move over there, and I'm like, until you get a place, you can't. I got to have the kids. So it's just me and the kids for like months.
Yeah.
Just alone.
Just full-time dad in it.
And I'm working. I mean, there's a lot in between this. We can backtrack later, but I'm working at Dan's Comp at the bike shop the whole time.
Posey County, right?
That's when they bought the old Gillis Cycling and Fitness off of Green River Road. They bought that and turned that into a second
I remember
neighborhood local bike shop type situation.
Where you in the mountain biking, I'm sure shit breaks all the time.
Oh yeah,
and so like you're having to learn.
No hesitation. He's like, yeah.
So you're having to learn how to fix these things, and because you've learned to fix those things, you have had like an interest in the bike shop.
And I remember the first time I broke my new mountain bike, I had the first one I had gotten as an adult, and like didn't break it, but like bent the back wheel, and I was like, oh, how do I fix this? What the hell? And took it to the shop, and it was like $30 to fix it, and I was like, oh, that's cheap. But then I was like, this is probably going to happen a lot. I should probably start kind of tinkering it with it myself. And from there, it would just caught on like wildfire, and I just dove into it.
I feel like a lot of things are that way, like intrinsic or not intrinsic, things that have detail to them, like like working on a car or whatever. There was like a stint where I never let it take hold of me, but there was a while like where I had to do like a brake change, like calipers, everything, total brake change on my Mustang, and like I did that myself. And then once you do something yourself, you're like, wow, that wasn't that bad. And then you're like, oh, okay, oh, my throttle body's going out. You're like, oh, how do I do this? And I feel like anything that has a lot of detail, like once you start like rolling with it, like it's easy to get obsessed with something like that, or at least it is for me. I don't know.
It's like me and motorcycles the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So you get a job at Dan's Comp at this time, and you're...
So, I mean, let's backtrack a little bit so it makes more sense. So, doing the house flipping stuff, still doing family business, had done that my whole life. It was starting to just, I was wondering, well, maybe I need to get away from this to start to get my shit together. And so I put out applications just anywhere, big box stores, all that. Dick's Sporting Goods was the one that called me back. They're like, hey, we have a bicycle assembler, like, tune-up job open, and it looks like you like bikes. And I kind of bullshitted my experience on that just to get in the door.
Oh, yeah.
And was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Didn't know anything. Didn't know what I was doing, but got to go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Did that for almost a little over a year and a half.
Okay.
And then had somebody kind of spying on me that owned a shop in town and had sent a couple, like, I don't know, their own little secret shoppers in to talk to me and things and see it. And then I get a call and they're like, hey, we want you to come run our shop. We're getting rid of the current manager. And I was like, huh?
Oh, damn.
They like scouted you out.
Yeah. And I was like, but I'm good. And the whole reason I had taken this job was to start getting insurance, you know, because of my daughter and the family and things. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
It's a big opportunity. I'm not going to have insurance. It's a small business, but I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Yeah.
So what'd you do without insurance? That's dicey.
That's
an icy road right there.
Yeah, I did that for a few years. And luckily,
damn,
it was all right.
No kids broke bones or anything in that year.
Well, luckily, Indiana sucks at a lot of things, but they're really good at, if you know how to do the paperwork to get insurance, if you're low income, and kids, they'll pretty much insure a kid until they're 18, almost
sick.
No matter what. That's
what's awesome.
It's really cool.
It's just a matter of like what you know. Yeah. You know, like the Small Business Development Center. Yeah. We had no clue about it, and we go there all the time.
No, they told me to not try to start my own business. So if you want to get on that. Yeah.
Oh, the Small Business Center did?
Yeah, that's not going to work, man. There's already too much shops and stuff. I was like, thanks for fueling my fire.
Yeah. Full throttle, full steam ahead now.
So saw red and was like, no, I know this is going to work. This is going to work, so we're going to do it.
Hey, dude. Sometimes you have to.
So you get separated during the management at this bike shop in town.
I worked for them, and then they wanted to...
Are you still partying?
Not
as much because you're full-time daddy?
Full-time daddy, shop manager, calm down. Still going out, you know, once a month, twice a month, drinking and doing that, and still smoking a pack a day.
Damn.
Still smoking weed too much. Still doing all that. And then they want to move, and they want to
the shop.
They want to move, and they want to turn it into like their other store in Kentucky, which was bicycles and like Patagonia clothes and running shoes.
Okay.
We moved to a new spot over by Brinker's Jewelers, and they want me to start pushing shoes and clothes for all the privileged ladies. And I'm just like, I'm a tinker. I'm a bicycle guy. What the hell? Like,
how did I get here?
I put up so much resistance. I was like, and they're like, you know what? It's just not working. I was like, okay, that's cool, but little did they know, a week before I had an interview at Dan's Comp, and I was getting ready to get my 2 weeks anyway. So it was like, universe was like, yeah, you
time to bounce.
You need to make choices faster because we're tired of giving you hints.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude.
That happens a lot for me. But
so you end up moving to Dan's Comp.
Do that. Feel like total noob, greenie, not knowing anything because, you know, it's Dan's Comp. They're
aggressive.
Huge.
Yeah, like everybody there is very knowledgeable.
Yeah, and I'm completely self-taught.
Yeah,
and
you're learning.
Out, it was just my drive that was what got me there, and it wasn't what I knew. So just kind of
and you probably
asked so many questions. They probably got tired of me asking, but I was like, I'm here. They have the knowledge. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to learn as much as I can while I'm here. And
oh yeah,
just did that for 3 years, and then shit started to hit the fan with the company. They were the biggest BMX mail order in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon was really taking off.
God, yeah.
They thought they could go up against all the big Amazon online retailers and put their foot down and double down and be like, no, we're going to do this. We're not going to sell through Amazon. We're not going to sell through other channels. We're not going to be omni-channel. Well, that bit him in the ass.
Yep.
And
karate chop to the throat.
So they started trying to, everybody's on a spreadsheet. Everybody's performance is on a spreadsheet. You're supposed to be working on bikes. You're supposed to be helping on the outside with customers too. And I was the only one because toot my own horn. I feel like I have good,
personal skills.
Yeah, good personal skills. Good emotional intelligence when talking to people.
Okay.
And the managers knew that, and they loved it because I could just bounce around. I could open the store. I could close the store. Trustworthy, always there, always showed up. But the owners, spreadsheets, logging your repairs, doing all that, it didn't look right because they were like, hey man, well, you're not your dollars. I'm like, well, when you give like free service and all this shit all the time and you're not charging what you should, yeah, it's not going to look as good. And then when I'm out here talking to people and helping, build community relationships,
rapport, yeah.
So
that's not getting numbers in there.
They came in and they were like, well, we're going to have to let you go. And I was like,
how is this my fault?
That doesn't make any sense.
What the fuck?
They all bring me in the room and they're like, it's not, it's blah, blah, blah.
It's not you, it's
bullshit.
me.
Pretty much, yeah. And then I walk out and it's like, my family just got blown up or something. And everybody feels sorry for me. They're all like white, like, you let him go? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is not right. This is all ego driven. This is management thinking that they're driving the boat, they're making the decisions, everybody else is just going to do what they're told. And I got pissed off. I was like, no, I haven't been around for 6 years in the local community doing bikes and doing this, and it's gotten me out of my shit. Like, this isn't going to be the end,
right,
at all.
Of cycling. So and they were that way because you voiced your opinion. You said that to them where you were like, hey, because you're doing free service and all this. You said that to the owner or the managers?
No, when I don't agree with something, I kind of look, my face does not hide it.
Okay.
I can remember my mom being like, when someone gets you a present you don't like, you got to smile and pretend like you like it. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah. That's a good smile though. You'd fool me. You'd fool me. I'm very not personable. I don't understand social cues.
Yeah. So
I think I have a disease.
Just making lots of stink faces and just putting up too much resistance for their what they wanted. And
did you have a nest egg or anything?
No.
So then that's really like you feel like everything's coming down.
Yeah, well,
that's a travesty.
My grandmother passed away after my grandfather. Grandfather about 2 years before. Grandmother passed away. Came to find out that they started the business, the Big Ice business, which was $30+ million a year gross business by the end. So they had their massive nest egg and they had all this, and then wanted to give it a lot to the grandchildren, so they split that up. I got like $20,000 and I spent it all on the van and starting the business, opening everything, insurance, all that. Just
like
spent all of it. Like, all right, here we go.
Around the same time you lost the job?
Yeah. It all coincided pretty close to each other. And I was like, something's telling me I'd just go for it. Like, if this doesn't work, I'll go work in a factory the rest of my life.
So when you started this, when you bought the van and stuff, was it to basically do like show up at people's houses and fix their bike?
Yeah, like at the time,
what year was this about?
It was about 5 years ago, so like 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm going to do this. I'm 29 years old. I'm about to be 30. I pretty much blew my 20s. I think I got to do something before I turn 30. And I signed up, opened an LLC before I turned 30, like 3 months before I was 30. So That's where it all began.
And that was almost ahead of the game. Like you see people now that do like to house, delivery, like Grubhub and stuff, where you see like Gleam detailing, where they go to your house and they'll detail your car. They'll go to your work, they'll detail your car.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about the van. What is the van for? Because you have brick and mortar, right? You have a
You can probably
at
scroll
this time.
for a while on my personal Instagram page,
this is that one, right? Yeah.
It'll take a while.
Okay. Oh, it'll be a hot minute.
So it was like a Ford F-250 Transit high roof van, so you could stand up in it and still have about a foot or so above your head.
Oh, damn. Okay. But what purpose did it serve, I guess?
So I had turned it into a complete tiny miniature bike shop. Had all the tools.
Well, that's neat.
I had tires, inner tubes, all the little bits and everything that you would need, all the lubes, all the oils, all the tools. Everything you'd need to do pretty much basic stuff that I had learned working at small shops, big stores, and then the biggest like service shop in the area. Yeah, and just taking all that knowledge, putting it all together, and being like, all right, let's try this. So did that, put a floor in it, had some leftover kind of cool looking flooring from my house that I had.
Like a laminate or something or whatever.
And just enough left over to do that. Made it look kind of nice. Looked at prices of all the prefab. Yeah.
Sick.
If you scroll down more, you'll see. I think that's a memory photo I had. But did all that, tried to make it look as cool as I could.
And when you're in the biking community, like you had been for a couple of years, and you're going out and mountain biking and everything, you kind of already built that customer base in a sense. And
there'd been so many people over the years, the only reason I come to Dan's Comp is because you're here, because everybody else is a dick. Like, you're genuine, you actually seem to give a shit about me and my friends and us, and that's why I came here. And then that was all those people telling me that was like, hey, you need to keep going with this. Don't give up. And that was
what,
a lot of good.
Do you remember thinking like, should I pull the trigger on this? Well, what
I don't even know how
what
much
pushed
sleep
you
I
over
lost.
that edge?
Almost being 30, I guess, and having 2 kids and
not wanting to be in the rat race.
Yeah. And this was probably a little less than 2 years after I got divorced. So maybe, they were pretty lenient on me, being kind of spaced out at work and things like that for a while. But, and then in that time too, I met my current wife, Rachel, and her 2 kids.
Damn, dude, y'all got like a Brady Bunch situation going on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you asked me that 20 years ago, I would have laughed at you and said, fuck you. That's not what's going to happen.
No, eat shit. No way.
But you don't get to pick life. It kind of happens.
You met her around the start of the business, or the business?
A little before. I had met her maybe 5-6 months after I got divorced. When I was still living in the same house as my ex-wife, but we were staying in separate rooms and not there, and just kind of trading with the kids on and off and going out and doing our own thing, which was super awkward. And
yeah. So, how long after you have the van until you buy the spot in Newburgh?
About a year.
So in that year, you got enough to be like, all right, I can put it in a solid
because
location.
Dan's Comp was still going downhill. The morale was terrible there. It was terrible before I left. It was just going, and everyone was looking for somewhere new to go to take their bikes that they felt wanted at,
right?
Like that they weren't a burden being in there asking questions, and it just got to be so out of hand with me alone. And like, my garage was full, and my dad, I was like, "Hey, Dad, I need more space. Can I use your garage to work on the bikes?"
Right.
And then it turned into Dad's like, "All right, you got like 20 bikes in here." The customers' bikes, like, what are you gonna do? Like, this is obviously growing too fast. And I was like, well, let's open a brick and mortar store.
Right.
Scariest shit ever, trying to do that. Signing a lease, 3-year lease, thousands of dollars a month for the rent, not knowing if it's gonna work. But I don't know, I guess
You had to have a good gauge, though, right? Like, I mean, you had to.
Yeah.
You were having income. You had income, obviously, coming in. So you have capital. So at that point, I mean, did it at least make sense, or like, I don't know how I want to word this question.
In my heart, it made sense. I was just following my intuition. Mathematically, fuck no.
It didn't. You weren't.
No,
you
it
weren't
was
like
the stupidest risk ever with having kids, but it felt like
Especially
something
with
was pulling me. Something was pulling me, man. I don't know that I can even put it into words. Like
that's fair.
Especially with
something
the
pushed
small
me
business
towards it.
center saying statistically,
saying no, and there's already so much shop, and there's only so much business in the area. It won't work. I was like, man, I know this place.
So how long after you signed the lease until you opened doors?
Probably 3 months of
That's fast.
doing that.
But it's also scary for somebody with high anxiety because you're spending, like you said, thousands of dollars a month
High anxiety.
plus thousands of
And
dollars in renovation.
This was just a couple of years out. Like, so now my girlfriend.
What year is this? Are we about
this is,
2018?
2018 probably.
So
yeah.
pre-COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Okay.
pre-COVID.
Okay.
My wife loves cooking. She grew up just always in the kitchen, loving doing that. She's really good at it. Working at cafes, just love that whole atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Trying to figure out what to do, like with the shop, because we know we can't just open a small service only bike shop. Let's have something. So we tried to do like a little coffee shop at the same time. We got a little shitty coffee brewer and built a bar. I think if you scroll through, you might see some of it.
Like in the earlier days, or
it'd be like totally later. But
well, actually, I did see coffee in here somewhere. I did. Sorry, not that I wasn't listening to you earlier, but it was like right in. I feel like we're pretty close. But you guys did coffee as well in the early days.
Yeah, we wanted
like
to, and then just the bright ideas just kept on rolling, and we just kept putting ourselves into more and more stress and more work, and
kind of to trim the fat back a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess like we both came from pretty traumatic endings of divorces, so I don't know, you could say we were traumatized and just kind of head down, running forward, just overdoing it, trying to be perfectionists at everything. Just,
progress.
Yeah,
progress,
not dealing with our
forward.
shit. Just keep going. Just keep going. Don't look back. Like this next thing's going to make me feel better, more accomplished, and this next thing, and this next thing. And
Golly.
So what was it like when? I mean, because so you move in, and I'm sure you're slammed, right? Because like you just moved basically 20 bikes from one building to another.
and then I had to hire my first employee.
Oh damn, that's
a lot of stress.
A lot of stress.
It's a lot.
And,
Did you go with somebody that you had rapport with already? Somebody you knew that was in the game?
I knew, and just I really didn't have many options at the time because I mean it's bicycles.
Right.
It's not something that there's an industry really for. That's not something that is profitable in most people's minds. It's like the biggest joke is, how do you start out with $1 million, or how do you make $1 million in the bike industry? Start with 3.
Yeah. Dude, I'll be honest with you though. Like, I don't know about I've never had to really do much maintenance or upkeep to I have a Culver 14.
Cool.
So I got it off of one of the big bicycle shops online. It was like Bike World or Bicycle World or something. But I don't know about like the maintenance and stuff, but actually purchasing like a roadworthy bike, like a race-worthy bike, like it can get pricey. Like,
oh yeah,
bikes are not cheap.
And
5-figure easy.
Do you sell bikes at your shop?
Oh yeah, we
go ahead and tell everybody like what all the services and everything that you have there.
Yeah, we are full service. We do. We're so Giant is the main brand that we sell. Globally they're the largest brand and largest manufacturer of bicycles.
Okay.
For their brand and many other brands. Like they make a lot of Trex bikes. They make the Scott brand, the Konaga, like all these big brands. They make because they have such high quality control and production standards that all these companies are like, here, make our stuff for us, please.
You ride a Trek.
Yeah.
And my first, he has a road bike Trek. I don't know what the model is. My first real bike was a hybrid Trek.
Nice.
I got it somewhere else in town. But anyways, yeah, Trek is a really nice bike.
Yeah, they're the number one in the U.S. They do a pretty good job of keeping the North American market on lockdown.
Okay. I do see that they're very popular. And before we start bragging on your store, where exactly are you located? Have we already said that and I missed it?
We haven't.
Where are you located?
We're in Newburgh. Are you familiar with the Engelbrecht Orchard that used to be in Newburgh?
It's
the big like
CVS.
Yeah.
Starbucks / Little Caesars, and then right behind it is the strip mall, which is where
it used to be the orchard, and then behind that used to be like many acres of like peach tree orchard. All like I grew up going there as a kid with my mom, getting fresh peaches, and she got her little hanging plants for the deck and things like that there.
Okay, sick.
So it was kind of surreal opening a store in that at first, knowing
with that
all the
spot,
flashbacks of what being 3-4 years old going in there, and
it's insane.
Yeah, just total mindfuck.
And so you do like full service.
Yeah, what other services do you offer?
So we do pretty much everything except like build a frame, weld and fabricate.
How soon, like if somebody made an appointment, how soon's the in and out?
Right now, it's pretty quick. Like you bring it in, it just depends. If you hit a pothole, bust a spoke, we'll have that done probably the next day or within like 48 hours. We try to do smaller stuff pretty quick.
And then, quick side note, I'm gonna ask on air for myself. What is like a checkup essentially? So like I feel like when I ride, like my back tire leaks a little air or something, or like I sit on it and it kind of flattens out a bit. I don't know if it's normal or not. I always put air in it. But
tiny, all the what is it, like semi tires? A lot of truck tires are like have little pieces of metal, like they're belted and stuff, and those tend to, when the tires wear, just kind of fly off the tires, and there's tiny little pieces that looks like a eighth of a staple, just all
like
over
little
the road.
spindles.
Yeah, so that usually will poke a micro little hole and perforate the tire, and you might be fine for your ride, but every morning you get up and then you're squinting, you're like, no, the tire doesn't have any air in it again. What the hell?
Yeah, no, exactly. Right. And then you're supposed to, like, they should not, when you sit on that bike, it should not flatten out at all. You should be riding at like 120 psi.
I know, I can't imagine. I'm sure my speed will go up once I get proper psi.
Drastic, because you're going to go from riding on a tire like this touching the ground to a tire touching that much of the ground. Yeah. And it's like a fucking razor.
I really just need to invest in completely new tires for it.
I actually have an intriguing question. Transmissions, how familiar are you? I'm assuming at this point you've spent a lot of time with gears and stuff. So like I'll have to show you my Culver after this and you can take a look at it. But like, what is, like, if you just have this like one-off bike, right? Like $1,000 bike, nothing special. It was like given to you or something. Middle of the road everything, middle of the road frame, it's 20 pounds, middle of the road tires, middle of the road tranny. If you were going to switch transmissions, what's the one to go to right now?
Right now the supply chain's a mess, so it would be trying to find something that would have parts for the next few years.
If supply chain was not a mess, like what's a hot tran that people are going with?
It just depends on how new and flashy you want to go. Like, do you want reliable but still like good performance, or do you just want the latest and greatest?
I should preface that I'm referencing for speed, for racing.
So really just something that's going to be consistent and have a good gear range to get for what, like the elevation that you're going to be doing on your rides and things like that. But just Shimano or SRAM is what they're the two major players in drivetrains.
Okay.
Something that's set up right, and a lot of it's
and they're
just
all
in the setup is really what the most important thing is.
How much does clip-ins change your life?
Quite a bit, because it evens out your pedal stroke so much. When you're pushing, you can be pulling up with that other foot and just have this continuous stroke.
Yeah, I have I don't know what you call them, baskets. I have the slip.
Those
where
always scared me.
Yeah, like, because when you stop, you have to pull out, and then once you start back up, it's like I gotta slip back in.
Or they're upside down, they're scraping the ground.
Yeah, so it sucks. I would much rather do clip-ins, but that pull that I keep hearing about, and it's almost like a lot of the pro racers, they talk, it evens your stroke out, and it's like you're doing it subconsciously, like you're getting that pull, but you don't even know that you're like, that this foot is helping this other
climbing
foot.
It is such a difference.
What's the conversion like? I mean, it's basically just like a bolt, and then you put a new pedal on. But like,
so put the pedal on, and then the shoes have like so there's like a cross country,
like a track
mountain bike type shoe that has like looks almost like a soccer shoe, and then they call it a cleat is what clips into the pedal. It's kind of recessed up in the pedal or the shoe, and then there's road cleats, which are these.
So there's a difference for mountain biking and road bikes.
Yeah,
I didn't think you clipped in on a mountain bike.
Oh yeah, it's kind of scary.
Right, the bike goes flying.
Hey, that is fucking. Where I come from, we call that sketchy.
Oh, it was at first, yeah.
Dude, if you go take a tumble, that's
Bike
gonna
goes
suck.
with ya.
That's
Oh, yeah.
gonna suck balls. Have you had a tumble and your bike came with you?
Oh yeah, I had a one where trying to hit a lever to make the mountain bikes have, they call them dropper seat posts. It's just like an office chair is the best way to describe it. You hold the lever, your weight, the seat goes down.
Yeah.
Stand up, the seat goes up.
Oh, neat.
And it was just terribly positioned on my bike at the time. First, like 10 minutes into the ride, I had to kind of take my hand off, move over to push it to make the seat go down, and my hand slipped off over the bars. I was like, what the fuck? Other hand slipped off, bars are on my chest. I'm like going down the hill.
Oh, no.
Slam, flash of white, get up. I'm like, man, my shoulder is pinching. What the hell? Just snapped my collarbone and clean in half. Broke it in a couple pieces.
Fuck.
Bike.
That's probably my first thought as soon as I come to it. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I had adrenaline. I got up and I was like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. I'm fine. Just
rode another 4 miles.
Then I was like, maybe I need to go back after just standing there for a couple minutes, like trying to shake it off. And I'm like, I'm gonna. So I grab my bike. So do you wear like the padded shorts when you ride at all?
Sometimes.
I just got a tri-suit not too long ago, and
Okay.
it has the dumpy diaper in there.
Yeah.
Well, because you get wet.
It's
So
weird. It's
you
weird
swim in
though.
it.
Like I bike to work every now and then. It's like 8 miles, and so sometimes I'll put it on, but then I like walk into work, or like when I'm leaving, I change into my bike outfit, and I'm like walking out, and I feel like I got Depends on or something,
It's worse when you swim, because when you swim and that diaper gets wet, dude, and then you got to get out and hop on. It's just like
We were
fuck,
training
like
for
you're
the
85 years
yeah.
old.
Yeah, dude, you're just all moistened up.
Nurse.
If you need another drink, just let me know.
Are you doing all right? Do you want another beverage?
I actually forgot it was there.
Oh, sip it up, man. That's the first time I've seen these LDs up in the tri-state area. I didn't know they were here. That's
This one's
interesting.
a lot better than the plain just water in a can one that I had before.
So
Yeah.
when you open the shop and stuff, I assume so. Like you mentioned Patagonia earlier. Do you know how that company got started?
Yeah, that is an intriguing company.
Jean Girard, is that who it was?
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank.
But they took a trip down, and he owned a surf shop essentially, and hired a bunch of his buddies. And when the surf was up, they would close shop because you're not getting customers in the surf shop when it's good surf.
Cool.
And so they would go out and surf those days, and they ended up going to Patagonia and climbing mountains and forging tools. And then when they made it back to the States, they patented all those tools, and then they sold them, and they made millions, and then bought a plot of land in Patagonia as like a nature preserve.
Cool.
But
Yeah, they're sick, dude.
well, I was gonna say that's kind of like, did you see? Where was I going with the Patagonia thing?
That was where I got introduced to them, and now I've got a few pieces of their clothes that I've had for so long.
Oh my god,
they last forever.
You can't wear them out, dude. It's
No.
like I hear people like complain. I'm not paying $200 for a pullover for Patagonia. It's like, no, that $200
pullover you're gonna get.
Yeah, it'll be the last one. You'll be 89 years old and be like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, I finally need a
Got
new
one
pullover.
of the R1 waffle fleece.
I love their
pullovers.
waffle fleeces, dude.
It's
They're
like
sick.
the hood comes around like a ski mask, and
Oh damn, that's
it's
tight.
super cool.
I was gonna say
it's so good for so many things.
like the Patagonia when they opened. Wow, I lost the train of thought again.
That's 2 times in a row, dude. You're
I
banging it
know.
out. So what do you think? What's the future of cycling solutions? You think? Like, what do you? I know, like, so we just recently got an LLC for the podcast, right? So, and then like we had mentioned before, we're working a little bit with the Small Business Center in downtown Evansville. So we've kind of gathered some information from them, and they asked, "Hey, do you have a 5-year plan?" And we were like, "Look at us, no." You know what I mean? But like, do you have? Do you and your wife, or your wife and you, rather have like a game plan or like a 5-year plan from now, or like a 10-year plan?
Before COVID, and then COVID just fucked it all up. COVID was insane for us.
Yeah, what was that like?
We didn't close a single day.
Fuck yeah, bro.
We stayed open the whole time.
Metal.
I knew
That's hardcore.
how important bikes were to keep so many people
moving,
mentally well and healthy. I saw the look on their faces. I heard them thank me just for being here, and they knew how hard it was. Like, fuck, when we didn't know what COVID was, we were like disinfecting every bike, only taking bikes outside. We didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
no one knew. Everybody was just being like pulled so many different directions with
hepatic suits on instead of like it's goddamn biohazard suits.
We went through like 8 gallons of hand sanitizer and tried. It was fucked. But
we employed a priest for a little bit. He would just say a prayer every time somebody walked in.
Holy water.
What? Speaking of employees, is it the same guy or girl that you had?
So I actually let them go earlier this year.
I'm sorry to hear that. And if you hear this, I'm sorry, friend.
No worries. Shit happens. People change. People go in different paths, and I understand that.
I was going to say with the Patagonia thing, I finally remembered. I'm going to get it out real fast if I can. But like how they close shop to surf. Do you ever find a day where you're like, "Fuck, it is beautiful outside. I want to crush an extra long bike, so I'm going to open the shop maybe 2 hours later."
Sometimes we'll since we're open on Saturdays. If it's and we're closed on Sunday and Monday, we've always been closed on Sunday and Monday because you gotta have some time. Like
that's a small business thing that I find is pretty common. It's weird,
especially in Europe. That's like Europe. Yeah. That's normal.
Yeah, Mondays. And
we're
Sundays.
on holiday. Bye. See you in a month. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Here it's fucking just work. Be open every day. Be a slave to your business.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. That's no way am I gonna do that. I won't. It won't last. It won't work. I'll burn out so fast. So Sunday, Monday, had mechanics coming in on Mondays when we needed them just to pick up so that they weren't just being bombarded by the, hey, I need your help out here, and put your shit down and come out here and lose your train of thought of what you're doing and just make it take longer.
So you would let them come in on Mondays and kind of like lessen the blow for Tuesday.
Yeah, that worked out pretty well.
I have an intriguing question actually about the being shut down. Like the European holiday thing is a really intriguing thought that like, I was talking to somebody from around here that owns a business. I can't remember who it was, but they were like, yeah, we're only open on like Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Like those are the only days they're open. And in my head, I was like, that's stupid. But then after the more I talked to him and thought about it, I was like, well, it almost like creates a little bit of exclusivity. Do you think that? Have you ever thought about that, or like, do you know anybody else that owns a business that maybe they do that? Where hey, we're like a restaurant, like we're only open Monday and Tuesday.
Open for a while, and they realize, like looking at the numbers from the years, like, hey, we don't do shit on these days. Like, we'd probably make more money and have more focus and energy on the days we did to make it even better.
Right.
But yeah, I don't.
So it was just a fun thought. I didn't know if you had ever thought about that.
As you start cleaning up, because you got to clean up when you're doing the business stuff. Like, would you say you start biking more and more? Like, I mean, as you do this, like, because like you're road biking, you're mountain biking, you're dirt biking.
Got into gravel riding, so just back gravel roads.
And you've a group of people that you go biking with. That's one thing like I wish that like you don't see. I saw a group of guys go from Newburgh to New Harmony and back, and there was like 5 or 6 of them. But like nobody like in the younger age group, I feel like, or at least for me, new bikers, you don't see those groups or.
And that's something that, so like you were talking about the 5-year plan and COVID blowing it just all to hell, and basically just being in survival mode to keep the business going. And it went from bikes are always on sale with the suppliers to within like 6 months, there's nothing and they don't know when they're going to get anything. And you're like, holy shit.
And that's everywhere too. It's everything everywhere.
It was, and I had just been in a frenzy, and luckily something told me like, hey, just back order 10 times more than you ever think you're going to need.
That's aggressive. That's a big number. It was.
I had read a Ryan. You ever heard of Ryan Holiday, the Stoic kind of guy?
Yeah.
So I read "Obstacle Is the Way" right before COVID.
It's a good book.
And I had just thought of all these times, like the people starting businesses during the Depression, whenever it was a risky idea, things like that. I was like, man, this might be my obstacle is the way moment. And I was like, hit that order button with all kinds of bikes. And it was scary, and I was worried every night between COVID anxiety, not sleeping, and then having all that shit coming in the pipeline. It was a lot. It was a lot to deal with, but
that is a lot. Jesus Christ.
And so your store, what are the hours for the 5 days a week that it's open?
We have pretty easy hours, just so that
it's like 8 to 4, right?
We really care. Like everybody there, like I can't. tell you how awesome my staff is enough. Like, they're so genuine, so real, so helpful. Like, I trust everybody there. I would trust them with my kids. I'd trust them to do whatever. They're so great. And like, that's,
and they really care about your business.
yeah. And they care. We care about each other. We taught, like,
it's a family.
It's a family. And it's, which is what I feel like the new way forward with businesses have to be. That old, like, just workers are disposable. You're supposed to show up, not talk to your lesser coworkers. I'm up here doing this. You guys are supposed to be down there doing that. That's all shit. The whole paradigm of work needs to change. Like, everyone's searching for meaning, and you can't find meaning when you're just a pawn or just a worker.
You don't hold stake. So
yeah.
As we kind of go to put a bow on things, was there ever a moment on this journey where, like, you just wanted to throw in the towel, like whether the bike shop, life in general, and you're just like, man,
like every week for a moment.
You're just like,
yeah, it's just overwhelming. But
well, we like to ask, like, what pulls you through those moments? Like, what keeps fuel on your fire? What keeps you going?
What's your anchor?
My wife.
Yeah,
knowing that
Rachel, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised I remember. Yeah, big shoots to Rach.
She made me realize, like, my strength when I didn't feel like I was worth a shit, or like that everyone thought I was a failure. She looked at me. She thought the world of me, and that was enough to keep going. And it was hard. Like, and she quit her job too to start the business with me, which was
commitment.
Yeah, and we drew
rolling the dice.
We went on Medicaid with the family, Medicare. Like, we just drew this just enough money to get by, and for like 2 years, and it was scary, and yeah, it was a lot. But
do you think that was a more turbulent time in the relationship? Like, did it cause stress on the relationship? Just out of curiosity. I mean, did it make it any more, or did it make you feel like you guys were tighter?
Both, but we both came from some pretty traumatic relationships.
Some dicey shit anyway.
Physical, emotional abuse.
Repairing and growing together.
So, yeah, and it was, when we met, it was this, like, just...
Well, like you said, you just
bonding,
knew.
And our kids...
She picked you.
Clicked.
The earth picked you guys for each other.
And it was a friend that I hadn't talked to in 10 years. I just saw her, and she was like, hey, I think you should meet somebody if you're ready to start meeting somebody. I was like, oh, fuck. I don't want to do this, but dude. Sure, we'll try it, because I got to try something different. I'll go out and eat pizza at Tironi's with you guys and talk.
An hour,
and then I was like, and I was screwed up from everything still, and I was like, and she was screwed up from her stuff, and just we were both a mess, but we were both such kind people that you could tell, like, we both knew that immediately when we met each other, and I don't know how to describe it. It was awesome finding somebody that wasn't so crazy. And I mean, here we go again. Am I just wanting to find somebody that's, what I want, or I'm just imagining stuff in my head? But
no, you said it earlier, man. I think the universe picked her for you, and vice versa. I think it just,
and you guys have grown a beautiful bike empire almost.
Yeah, dude, you got 4 children, and you're growing a beautiful baby with, Cycling Solutions, man, which is by the CVS, behind the CVS. Where exactly can they find you? Where's the brick and mortar at?
So you go into Newburgh, coming from Evansville. There's an old Family Video, a Huck's,
it's a 261
Donut Bank, and a CVS. You turn left there. You go down to the light to come back around behind the building, and then you come and you turn on Fruitwood Lane, park in the front. You can park in the back if the front's full, because it's got a huge gravel lot in the back. It doesn't really matter. Park wherever you want. Just don't park in the middle of the street.
Perfect, man. Or you'll get a ticket, dude.
And then as well, where can people find you guys on social media platforms?
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and then our website. It's Cycling Solutions Bicycle Shop on Facebook, and then it's cycling.solutions on Instagram, and then it's cyclingssolutionsmbs.com. That's from my mobile bike shop days still, and I screwed myself with that name, and now
stuck with it now.
Now I'm stuck
with it, dude.
So last minute shout outs. Who do you want to thank for getting you to where you're at and where you're going?
And if you have any upcoming events or anything, the last couple minutes is all you. We like to give you the last couple to just kind of get out whatever you want to get out.
Shout outs to everyone that's supported the business. It's from when I was at other shops that had followed me from shop to shop. that have, you know, when I'm exhausted and tired, they've been like, hey man, like, thanks for opening this shop, and all the encouragement everyone's given me and all my staff. Like, you guys are the world to us, to my family, and to this business. And without everybody here, this business would not be anything. So
it's awesome.
Shout out to everybody for giving us a
and
chance.
You're in great biker shape, by the way.
Oh,
he's got that biker bod. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's very aerodynamic. You look lean as shit. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I got weighed. We went to the doctor this week, and they were like, "Well, you're 147." I was like,
"Oh wow,
I haven't been that much since middle school. What the hell?" And
Jeez.
It's just
your resting heart rate's probably low as fuck.
Yeah, usually like low 60s, high 50s. I think if I'm just chilling.
I'm not far from him.
Yeah,
I'm not far from that. Okay. Well, as we're wrapping up, I can't thank you enough. I know running your own business is hectic, and for people with bad anxiety like myself and like you, it's a lot. So
it's a lot.
You could be doing anything for 2 hours out of your day today, but you were kind enough to stop in and talk to us and tell us your story. And
no problem, guys.
I just greatly appreciate it, man. I mean, this has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm, and I will definitely be checking out cycling solutions for my bike needs in Newburgh as well as you.
And we'll have all the links for his socials in the description, so check him out. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
for having
your
me,
time.
Guys. It's great.
Thank you. Cycling Solutions, guys. Thank you.
This has been Moll.
Yeah. See ya. It's me. I bounced around.
Well, no. Everything about this episode felt really good when we were starting, and then like as soon as I hit play, it was like stutter, 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 stumble, stumble. Like I'm fucking clicking buttons that I don't even know what's going on. Oh yeah, we have a little close show.
Hey guys, if you liked what you heard today, there will be a new episode next Tuesday as well as every Tuesday at 6 a.m. So hit that subscribe button and let your phone do all the work for you.